So here at Kotu we have spherical boulders spread along 2 kilometres of the foreshore. These are Northland's answer to the Moeraki Boulders down there in Otago. And I'm afraid the Moeraki Boulders don't hold a candle to these ones. This one is nearly 3 metres in diameter, but the biggest, just in front of me here, a whopping 4 metres in diameter. As far as I know, these spherical concretions are the largest spherical concretions in New Zealand, and they're here because they're much harder than their host rock in which they were formed. That host rock was a sandstone which has been eroded away, leaving these much harder concretions lying around. But how were these concretions formed within that sandstone? First of all, the sandstone was deposited on the floor of the sea around 70 million years ago during the late Cretaceous, just before the extinction of the dinosaurs. And that layer of sandstone built up, and then it was covered by more sandstones and siltstones until our layer of sandstone was quite deeply buried. At that stage, grains within that sandstone were still not tightly packed. There were pores between each of those grains, and that was sufficient to allow water to pass through the sandstone. That groundwater passing through the sandstone and through other rocks gradually dissolved calcium carbonate and became supersaturated in that mineral. And when it came to an object within the sandstone, such as a shell or a small rock, it sometimes started to crystallise crystals of calcium carbonate called calcite between the grains of sand, and it grew outwards from that shell in all directions, and it gradually built up a sphere. And that was growing within the rock, within the sandstone itself. If you're not convinced that these actually grew inside the rock itself, inside the layered sandstone, you only have to look at some of them. And in this big concretion, we can actually see some of those layers actually going through the concretion itself, and would have carried on out into the softer sandstone that's been eroded away. So here we can see a fairly massive bed of sandstone. Up here you can see it's been deposited by very strong currents, producing these laminations within that whole bed up in here. So this particular concretion has split along a fracture here, and we can see right in the centre what it was growing around. And this is a lump of mudstone, and it is probably picked up by that slurry of sand coming across the seafloor and down the slope, ripping up some mudstone from the seafloor and incorporating it into the sands and rafting it along. We call these rip-up class of mud or mudstone. And it would appear that this one, and all of them in fact, have a cobble of mudstone inside them, and that's where the crystals of calcite started to crystallise first. And gradually over time, possibly up to hundreds of thousands of years, to grow this concretion. And some of them have been here maybe for several thousand years in the sun in the summer, heating up and drying out. And fractures have opened up in some of them, and some of them are splitting apart. But we've still got some perfect ones that have yet to split apart. Why are they concentrated here on the foreshore? It's because they've eroded out of the eroding soft sandstone that was up on the slopes behind us and above us. So all that soft sandstone that was the host rock has gone, and all these hard concretions have been gradually falling down and rolling down the hillsides and collecting here on the foreshore.